Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? Is everything good? Okay, good morning, Jane. Good morning, Pon Kamon, and everybody here. Okay, so I hope that today is a nice day, with a sunny day. Okay, because yesterday it was like it was heavy rain during the evening time, so this morning it should be good. Right. Okay, so today we are going to continue talking about the requirement analysis in the handout that you received. Okay. Um, for one information that I just like want to tell you is that on last week I received some question from some students to ask me that whether the class is canceled today or not, and I told him or her that we have the regular class on today. But I mean, like, I'm not sure. I have to check for the schedule of next week. Okay, for the commencement day. Okay, so I think you may want to just like go to congratulate the seniors. Okay, then let me just like check with the my secretary first whether it's okay for the students to just like for us to cancel the class. Okay, so that you can just like go to just like yeah, congratulate to the graduate. Okay, to your senior. Okay, but I'll just like announce on line messenger on our group chat, the line messenger for you. Okay, right. Okay, on last class we talked about the module 3 for the requirement analysis. Okay, so let me just like continue talking about it more so that we can just like understand more about the requirement analysis, so that you can just like prepare your I mean, you can also like do your what to say, case study, and also you just like be able to just like think about like the future if you would like to be the system analyst. Okay, this is a task that you have to do. Okay, so in this one, okay, let me just do the slideshow for you. So last time we finished at the input for the system requirement list. Okay, it's here. Yeah. Okay, on last time we talked about the system requirement checklist whenever we would like to check whether the system is ready to be used or what's wrong with the as-is system right now. You have to check all the inputs, process, and output, including the controls as well. So if there is any problems, you may just like propose like the to-be system for the users. Okay. So apart from the input that we have to just like check how the system is doing for the input, for example, for the employees of the manufacturing department, they have to swipe their ID card. Okay. And after that, the information from their ID card will be sent into online data collection terminals. After that, the information for like check in, check out of each employee we use to calculate the labor cost and production efficiency. Okay, so this is just like an example of the system requirement that you may need to have. Okay. The next thing is that when we talk about the input already, process is also another system requirement checklist that you have to do as well. For process, it means that you check for the process of the system, of the information system. For example, in this one, we check that, okay, the student record system must calculate GPA at the end of each semester. Does the process of the student record system do like that or not? Okay. Next, as a final step in year-end process, the payroll system must update employee salaries, bonuses, and benefits, and produce tax data required by the IRS. Okay. Information resource system. Okay, that is just like the name of the department on a company. So these are like what we expect the system to do. If they don't have it, okay, they may the checklist may say that yes or no, and you say that okay, if it's no, it means that the final step in year-end processing, it doesn't calculate any bonuses. Then you just specify. Just a little bit more, some business related terms that you have to understand when you study in the interaction design class, as well as the system analysis and design, is about like the business related terms. For example, in here, you will see that there is a word year-end processing. What does it mean by year-end processing? Actually, in any businesses, at the end of the year, they have to process the data for the coming year. Okay, for example, normally for the year-end processing, we have to calculate the tax that we paid to the government. Okay, the tax that we may receive back from the government, something like that. Apart from that one, we have to also calculate the payroll information or the payment information that we paid as a salary of our staff, how much for the whole year that you pay. Okay, that is the year-end processing. Apart from that one, bonuses, benefits are also a part of the year-end processing as well. And now we talk about the next word, payroll. When every time when you just like see the terms payroll, okay, in terms of business, this one means that it's just like the payment for the salaries of the staff. We call it as payroll. And normally, payroll system is the system that calculates the salary or income of the staff. Salary or income of the staff. Okay, that is what we call the word payroll. After that, when we talk about the processes that we need to check for the status of the system already. Apart from that one, we have to talk about like performance and the control of the system as well. So in this one, in terms of performance, what do we have to check? For example, you may say that, okay, you would like to check whether the system support 25 users online simultaneously or not. So what does it mean? It means that if you have an information system, you would like to know number of users that can be online simultaneously, or we have the technical term, we call this one as, okay, we call this one as concurrent users. These are numbers of simultaneous users who can be in the system. For example, if we are talking about Sky system, okay, they need to set up number of concurrent users as well, because you may see that, okay, we have, let's say, if we have like 3,000 MUSC students, we have, let's say, 300 instructors, 50 staff who deals with Sky system. Okay, so that means if you add them together, okay, these are like normally they are concurrent users. That means we expect that if everyone, okay, who deal with or who involved with Sky system log on at the same time, It's around 3,350 concurrent users. But when you design the system should be able to support more than this. For example, you may say that it's impossible for everyone to log in at the same time, but who knows? If you log in, but your computer is crashed and then you restart once again and log in again, the login session that you logged in before might be just like stuck in the system. So that means one student may have like 2 sessions as the online concurrent users already. So in some system, if we have real users for 3,350 users like this, you may set up that, okay, the concurrent users, you may add another 20% of users, okay, to be logged in. For example, in here, you need to have like 625 more users to be logged in. So you add with 3350, okay, it's 3,975 or approximately 4,000 concurrent users that you may have to set up. And after that, okay, you may just like check in the system whether the system support up to 4,000 concurrent users or not, something like that. So these are like the things that you have to check for the performance. Okay, and the next one, okay, next example, they say that response time must not exceed 4 seconds. In this one, okay, it's easy for all of us because, I mean, like, when you do the programming, you may just like write some around like 1 or 2 lines of program to check the response time of the system. Okay, so because this one, okay, for example, in here it said must not exceed 4 seconds. Why? Why do we need to set up the response time or to check for the response time? For example, if you are setting up or if you are developing for the ATM system, okay, you can see that the customers would like to, if they would like to withdraw the money from ATM machine, or if they would like to just like require or inquire for the account balance from ATM machine. Okay, 4 seconds might be like the duration that users can accept. But if it is longer than that, users might think that there is a problem with the internet connection and they may just like cancel their task. So that's why, okay, the duration for the response time is important for the users as well. Actually, if you would like to know that, okay, for how long do we have to use, can we accept? So you may have 2 sources. The first one, you just check from the users how long is acceptable. Second one, if this is the new system and there is no users who use this kind of system before, you may just like conduct from, you just like read from the research paper. Because actually, if you read from the research paper, the field that we call human computer interaction, this one belongs, HCI or human computer interaction. The research about this one is also conducted that, okay, how long does users, okay, need to have the response and how long can the users accept if they have to wait. Okay, you may just like read from the research papers and then you can just like set up as a checklist as well. Okay, right? Because different kind of system may need to have may have different waiting period, okay, and acceptable time as well, right? So this is a performance that you may have to check. Okay. Next, controls. In terms of controls, what do you have to check? The example here said that, okay, system must provide log-on security at the operating system level and the application level. So what does it mean? It means that if you just like would like to test on this system, once you turn on a computer which has this program installed, it means that once you start the computer, that computer must provide the log-on page or login page first, okay, before you come into like all applications inside. That is the operating system level. And after that, when you go to an application, like when you double click on the icon of that program already, it will have to just like let you log in again. So this is the meaning of this control. Okay. Suppose you say that okay, they have just like operating system level only. That means once you start the computer, it just asks you to log in. But once you go to the desktop already, you double click on the application, it doesn't ask you anymore, but it just go to the data, go to see the data or information inside. So this one doesn't have the log on security at the application level. Okay, right. So I don't judge that it's not good for not having the logging in at the application level. It depends on the usage, because some of the systems, if you allow to have like both level for log on at the computer and log on to the application, it may waste the time. For example, okay, let's think of line application on your mobile phone. Okay, so when you start your mobile phone, okay, you restart your mobile phone. First time, once you restart, it asks you to enter the passcode, right? That is the log on at the operating system level. And keep in mind, if you go to line applications to check the message inside, once you double tap on the what to say line application, and it asks for user ID and password all the time, I'm sure that it wastes a lot of your time. So that's why when you go to use line application, you can see that we can just like double tap on your screen, on your mobile phone screen, to go to the message straight away without logging in into line application. It's different from your computer. You can see that if you use line application on your computer, firstly, once you restart the computer, it asks for the logging in. But when you just like go to line application, if you don't set up like to start automatically, okay, or log in automatically, you always have to enter the password, okay, before you can log in. You can enable adding pin inline. Yes, Pongamon, you may. But the thing is that somebody said that, okay, for my mobile phone, it is private, because whenever we need to just log in at the operating system level, we use fingerprint scanner. So we may not put the pin code, something like that. Depends. Okay, this is like what you have to think. How secure you want the system to be. If the system is very, very secure, you may need to have logging in different levels. For example, once you start the computer, the operating system will ask for your user ID and password. After that, once you get into the application, you also have to use the PIN code, or you may have to use the password, and plus you may have to use like fingerprint scanner or eye scanner, the retina scanner, before you can access to that system. For example, when I just like notice when I go to just like have some ice cream at Swensen, okay, you can see that many people, okay, many staff in Swensen can also be the cashier. They can also be the cashier. It depends on who is assigned or who are assigned. So the things that you have to do is that whenever you would like to pay and there is a staff available, normally the computer, they don't need to re-log on every time because it wastes the time when the customer would like to pay the money. But the things that they have to do is that once the cashier reach the counter, that cashier will have to scan his or her fingerprint so that it will be unlocked on the application to just like bill you. And also it just show the name of the cashier straight away. They don't need to type or log in manually by using the keyboard anymore. Or they don't need to tap the card because it wastes the time. Okay, and normally, because they also have to serve the ice cream or just like prepare the ice cream for you. So that's why if they just have the ID card put with the lanyard on their neck, it may just like disturb their work. So that's why they just like use the fingerprint to scan on the scanner in front of the cashier counter. So that is one way that that information system do in order to just like record the name of the cashier at that time. Okay, this is a control. Okay. Apart from that one, we say that an employee record must be added, changed, or deleted only by a member of Human Resources Department. Okay, this is another example for the control. Because if we say that anyone can record, can add the record of the employee or change or delete the employee record, it will be the problem because one day, if Mr. A, who is the employee of the company, would like to ask for their bonus, they go to Human Resource Department because he would like to ask the Human Resource Department that he doesn't receive his bonus yet. Once the Human Resource Department just go to see his record, they don't see anything because somebody deleted already. So this one, in terms of control, it fails. Okay, because you must just like allow only the authorized person to record, to add, to change, or to delete the record. Apart from that, you may say that we must have, you must provide the log file, okay, for anyone who just edit or add or change or delete the file or record of the employee as well. It must also be recorded in the log file who did it. So if there is something problem happen, you just go to check at the log file and then you see immediately who did it. Okay, right. Apart from that one, we talk about the next thing that is future growth. Okay, future growth, cost and benefit. Okay, so in terms of future growth, cost and benefit that you have to think about. Okay, one thing that I just like talk about before was the scalability of the system. What does it mean by scalability of the system? It means that this system can be expanded, okay, for more users. Also, it may be able to just like reduce its size, or just like some unnecessary modules can be disabled if the users do not want, or maybe hidden before because like they may not want to use this module right now, something like that. Okay, so this is scalability. Scalable system offer a better return on initial investment. So what does it mean in here? It means that if we say that, okay, the system is designed to initially run for, let's say, 500 users. But if we say that, okay, in the next year, the next 2 years, let's say, number of users might be increased up to 700 users. So if your system is scalable, it means that there is no need to do things much, but your system, okay, can be added for up to 700 users. And in the future, if we say that, okay, this information system will be the web-based one, we may have up to 50,000 users. Okay, then if the system is prepared for the cloud-based system, and then it can be up to 50,000 users who can just like use this system as a concurrent user. Okay, this system is scalable. But I mean, like, no need for every system to support up to like 50,000 users. If this system is limited to be used just for a specific group of users, okay, 50,000 users in here might be like the cloud-based system only. Okay, that you don't need to set up the server by yourself. So that's why it can be expanded for lots of people or lots of users like that. Some system, it may be used up to just like, let's say, 10 to 15 users. Depends on the kind of system you would like to have. For example, if it is a system that we call EIS, Executive Information System, okay, there are not many executives in a company. Maybe like 3 or 4 people right now, and it might be like in the future, 10 people. something like that. It should be enough. So scalability here, if from today you have 5 users, and you say that in the next 2 years you may expand it to 10 users in here. This one, we can say that okay, this system is scalable anyway, right? It depends on like how you're gonna use this kind of information system in whatever manner. The next thing, after we talk about the scalability of the information system already, the next thing that we have to think about is what we call total cost of ownership. What is total cost of ownership? In this one, I just talk about the total cost of ownership a bit already when we reach this module. I say that whenever we talk about all the costs that you have to spend, okay, in order to get this information system, okay, it's not just the development cost, but it's also like other kind of costs as well. I'll show you in the supplementary slide very soon. But let me explain to you about this first. When we just like find out all the total cost of ownership for this information system already, what for? We will have to use TCO or total cost of ownership to compare. So of course, you have system A, okay, as the as-is system, and then we have solution A, solution B, sorry, solution 1, solution 2, solution 3. Which solution would you like to use for replace the as-is system? The things that we have to do is that we have to find TCO of as-is system. We have to find TCO of solution 1, TCO of solution 2, TCO of solution 3. And after that, you just compare them. Okay. Finally, it comes up with like which system or which solution, okay, is like the cheapest in terms of like the total cost of ownership. So you may consider that kind of system or the system or solution that you approach or you propose as just like the best choice that you will just like propose to the executive. So in this one, okay, I said that the TCO is important if development team is evaluating several alternatives. Like this one, you have like solution 1, 2, 3, okay, and you want to compare which one is the best one. Okay. One problem is that cost estimates tend to understate indirect cost. Okay. What is indirect cost? This is about the business related terms again. So for the cost, we have direct and indirect. For the direct cost of anything, it is outstanding. It is outstanding cost that you may think of. For example, if we say that we are thinking about having a new information system, you think of just like, if you say that your company doesn't have the IT team, so you may say that you will hire software house to develop. And you think that, okay, that is the cost that you have to pay. Okay, for direct cost is to hire software house to develop your information system. But you may not think about the indirect costs that might occur. First one, when you say that you have the new information system, you may have to buy a new server. Okay. And apart from that one, you will have to hire some more staff to just like operate this system. You may have to think of electricity costs. You say that in the past you had the manual system before. Just what belong, excuse me. ฮัลโหลครับ
ฮัลโหลครับเคยได้ครับ
ครับผม
จะมีของไปส่งที่อยู่ออฟฟิศ
อยู่ครับมาส่งได้เลยครับครับครับสวัสดีครับ Hello, sorry. Okay, this one. The thing that we see is that the indirect cost sometimes you just like don't never think about it. So that's why when we have to use TCO to calculate, it shows us for all of the costs that we have in both the direct cost and indirect cost. And in this one, you can see that for the terms rapid economic justification or REJ, this one is the framework that Microsoft company just like think about it and just like share to other people or other companies. If you go to just like search for the rapid economic justification of Microsoft, they just show you the guideline and the framework that you can just like that you can what to say think about and plan for the growth, cost, and benefit, okay, of the information system or of the company. So in this one, okay, I just want to show you for the TCO that there are like some company who just like think about this kind of the model. Okay, this one I just give you the link. Okay, and then I'll show you on the screen as well. Okay, this is the TCO. When just like people think about the TCO model, okay, what are they? There are like many costs that you have to think about. Okay, some costs like the money that you pay once, but you have to just like pay in order to obtain this kind of system. For example, R&D, tools that you have to use and equipment that you have to use. The cost if you have to evaluate this kind of system, bid an award. For example, if you say that you would like many companies, many consulting companies to like bid for this project, you may have to set up the meeting with them and you have to just like pay them for the lunch, for the meeting room and whatsoever in that one. Supplier certification, sometimes you say that, okay, in order to have the certificate for the suppliers, sometimes you may have to pay for it. It depends, okay. Also, overhead costs, purchase costs, okay. Some of the products you also have to pay the tax and duties as well, for example, especially for the hardware, something like that. While some of the system, if you hire the consultants or the expert in order to develop this system for you, they may say that, okay, they can send the expert from overseas, but you have to pay for their traveling costs and their accommodation as well, something like that. It will be included in the TCO model. Utilization, okay, when you install, when you would like to upgrade, downtime of the system, how long does it take and how much do you have to pay in that, labor cost, something like that. Training costs, okay, these are utilization costs. And life cycle costs, when the time goes by, when the warranty is finished, and then you have to pay more, okay, for the maintenance, how much do you have to pay? If you remember, I told you already that normally the payments or the warranty costs, you also have to just like pay after the warranty finish. You may have to pay for the MA cost or maintenance cost. So the price for extending the warranty or to pay for the maintenance cost, normally it's around like 15% to 20% of the product that you paid before. Okay, so these are like the sub items of the TCO that you may think of. Okay, so that means in the near future, if you have to create or to prepare a proposal for the alternative of solving some problems to your customer, okay, you can use like this TCO model in order to propose to them. And then what we have to do, you have to think for the information system that you are going to propose to them, which item is not related, and then you cross them out. After that, for the related items to the proposed information system, you have to find out how much does it cost for each thing. For example, R&D. Okay, do the customers have to pay about R&D? If yes, how much? For the tools that they have to use, do they have to just like pay for some extra software or something like that? How much does it cost? New computers or not, how much does it cost, and so on. Then you list them out, and then just like you may show them in terms of infographics, or you may show them in terms of the tables to let them see and compare the TCO of each choice that you would like to propose to them. Okay. After that, when we talk about the TCO already, okay, the next thing that we also have is here. We talk about the fact finding. Whenever we just like think about the TCO already, what is the next thing that you have to know? The next thing is that you have to know is that when you would like to find the fact to answer for like the things that you have. For example, if you remember from the TCO, each sub item, if you would like to just like think about like how much does it cost, okay, you may have to like find from the fact first. Actually, for the fact finding, first you have to think first, what information do you need to know? Okay, then you have to identify the information you need. Second one, you have to develop fact finding plan. Okay, how are you gonna do it? For how long? Who, what, when, where, how, and why. So the difference between asking what, I'm sorry. Excuse me, class, just give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So after we just like prepare the plan for the information we need already, and then find out who, what, when, where, how, and why related to the fact that you would like to get already. Okay, what kind of like the tools that you have to use for the fact finding? So in this one, okay, there is a framework by Segment International Company. They just like they prepare the framework that's called as segment framework. This is for enterprise architecture. Okay, this kind of framework helps managers and users to understand the model that and assure that all overall business goals translate into successful IT projects. So in this one, okay, let me just like show you in the bigger picture for the segment model or segment framework here. Okay, this one. You may see it in the chat box that I sent it to you. Okay, this is segment, and then let me just show you on the screen. This is segment framework. It just like tell us that, okay, how do you gonna set up each kind of like problems that you would like to solve, like what, how, where, who, when, and why. Okay, and then you just see that, okay, in terms of scope context, okay, in what kind of diagram should you use to explain something like that. So this is the explanation of the segment model. But anyway, when we have like the segment model in here already, or segment framework already, okay, when we talk about like the fact finding, okay, you can see that we also have to use this kind of diagrams or model in order to show to the users and executive as well, so that they will understand what you are trying to explain, what facts do we need to have. Okay, so apart from this, the diagram that help to explain for all things, or the facts that you try to just like discover already. Apart from that one, you have to know that we can also interview the users as well. So these are like the steps that you have to do if you want to just like interview for if you would like to interview the users to obtain some information. In order to interview someone, firstly, you have to think who to be interviewed. Okay, who to be interviewed. Okay, in this one, you may have to think about like the informal structures. Okay, who do you want to get or obtain some facts? Okay, after that, if you know already that, okay, suppose you say that, okay, you want to interview Mr. A, who is the head of marketing department. Okay, now you just like write down, okay, take some note that, okay, you would like to interview head of marketing department, and the name of that person is, if you don't know yet, you just put ... and then you just like check from the organization chart who is the head of marketing department, or you may just like ask your users, they can tell you who he or she is. Suppose he is Mr. A. Okay. After that, don't start interviewing yet. Don't say that, okay, I call to Mr. A, that I would like to go to meet you to interview about the current system. Okay, I'll go there by 1 p.m. today. Don't do like that. The next one, before you appoint that person, you have to set up the objective of the interview first. Okay, so in this step, you have to determine the broad area or general areas to be discussed with that person. What do you want from him or from her? After that, you list the facts you want to gather first. For example, you may say that, okay, I want to know number of users in the system. Okay, functions in the system, in the current, in the as is system. Okay, and you may say that, okay, how long or duration for the as is system, something like that. You list them out first for the facts you want to gather. After that, when you just like list out the general area and then the facts that you want to gather already, the next thing that we do is that we develop interview questions from the facts that you want to know. Okay, we just create a standard list of interview questions. Okay, the list of interview questions will help you to keep you on track. Okay, it will not let you get lost while you are having the interview, because sometimes if you ask some questions, if the user say that they're not happy with the current system and they complain, they start complaining, sometimes you just like lost your way. That's why we need to have the interview question. You just put him or her back to the track, and to avoid unnecessary tangents as well. Okay, right. After that, we have to avoid the leading questions. For example, when you say that, okay, let the users to criticize about the current system, and they start talking about something, and you know that they may not like the current system, and you want to propose your new system to this company, you must not ask them that, okay, is the current or is the as is system a kind of, or you can define it as a bad system. This is what we call leading question. Okay. Then the next one, apart from avoid leading questions, what else that you should have? You should have open-ended question. Open-ended question is the question that you don't specify the answers. So what do I mean? Open-ended question shouldn't be the question that is yes or no. Okay. But it should be the question like what, when, why. Okay, to let them explain, not when, what, and why. Let the users or the respondent of the interviews or interviewee to answer. It should be the open-ended question. But some kind of questions, it's important to have the close-ended as well. For example, if you say that, okay, you have 4 solutions for them, solution 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be the close-ended question. For example, let them choose which one that they like, that they prefer the most, solution 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So you can see that we have limited number of answers, just 4 of them only. So this is what we call close-ended question. Okay. You can see that for the good interviews, they should have both open-ended and closed-ended, depend on the situation. Okay. Your question should have range of response question as well, so that you should know that, okay, what or how users like it or not like it. You may use some of the question may be like we use it as Likert scale for let the users to answer. What is the Likert scale? I'm sure that all of you have used Likert scale before, but you don't know it's called as Likert. Okay. Sometimes you see a questionnaire. Okay. And you see that the score is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 means not satisfied at all, while 5 is the most satisfaction. Okay, something like that. This is what we call Likert scale. Okay. When you just like ask during the interview, you may just like prepare the Likert scale like a question to the users as well. Okay, for example, I may ask you that, okay, please rate this as-is system by giving score 0 to 5. 0 means that you don't like the system at all, while 5 means the system is like what to say is the most satisfaction system that you have ever used. Okay, so this one, okay, you have range of response questions that users can answer, the interviewees can answer to you. So when we just like develop the interview question, the interview question should be just like provide a variety of like ways of the users to answer. For example, you shouldn't ask open-ended question all the time, because users will have to answer a lot. And the problem is that, okay, if you just like study more for the art and science of interviewing, you will know that for open-ended questions here, okay, when you do the analysis of the answers of the users, open-ended question is the most difficult kind of question that you can analyze, because different people answer differently. And whenever you would like to gather and compile all the results, it will be difficult. Some of the people, when you provide as open-ended questions, they don't answer. Okay, but this one, it is interview. Normally, if you ask them, even it is open-ended questions, but they are like, I'm sure that all of them will be happy to answer to you. But sometimes when you ask them with the open-ended question, they answer to you for too long. Okay, so you have to be careful. If you know that they every time that you ask them with the open-ended questions, they answer you around like 5 or 10 minutes for one question. That might be too long. If you know already, you might say that okay, when you have like one or two questions with the open-ended question and you feel that it's too long, try to just like change a style, adjust some questions from open-ended to be closed questions instead. Or you may ask them to use Likert scale instead. For example, if I say that, okay, from 0 to 5, please rate for this current system, okay, and then you let them rate. Suppose they said, oh, I give 4. I give the score to the current system for 4 points out of 5. Then you have some feedback already. You know that, okay, that means if they choose 4, that means they feel like quite positive with this current system. So the next two questions that you should ask to probe with their preference is that first, why not 5? Why don't they give the score of the current system to be 5? Okay, so that means for 1 point that they deduct the score, they may have some reason to support that, okay, there might be like some part that they think it's still not good enough. Otherwise, they give it to 5. Or you know, like how do we gonna improve the quality of the current system? Okay, and apart from that one, okay, you know already that they quite prefer this kind of system. Some of the users, when you ask, okay, to rate the current system, they may say that, okay, I give the system as 2, current system as 2 points. Then you know that they are not quite feel okay with this current system. Then the next question to probe with this user is that, can you tell us what happened to this system? Why do you give it just 2 out of 5? So they will just like start talking about like the part that this system needs to have lots of adjustments. Okay, so this is the step 3 when you have to develop interview questions. When you also have, when you have developed the interview questions already, apart from that one, you also need to find out like some alternative questions as well. For example, if some question your users cannot answer, for example, it's a question that is related to the management, while the users is the key user. They don't know about the direction of the management. You have 2 ways to do that if they can't answer. So the first one, okay, ask them to find the answer for you, and then you just like contact them to get the feedback or the answer. Okay. Or second one, okay, replace with another question instead. So that means if they can't answer your question in here, and they can't guarantee whether you can find the answer for you or not, you may need to find a spare question for them. Okay, right. So this is the trick for developing interview questions. If you go to interview as a first time as an interviewer, it might be a bit difficult. I suggest you, if you really have to go to interview the users as a first time, try to be with other people who is the expert or who is the senior as yours. Because when they ask the question, they know the trick. How do we gonna switch to another series of questions? They will know the trick. If the users seem to have a bias to the current system and they start complaining, how do they gonna stop or just like change the direction of the question to be in another way instead? But if you go by yourself as a first time, once the user starts complaining that the current system, you may not have like some way out in order to fix the problem at that time. Okay, so you better just like gain some experience from the expert one first. Okay, so that when you go to interview by yourself, okay, it will be just like easier than just like start everything as a first time by yourself. Okay, so that's why, okay, for some companies, if you go to be there as the internship student, and if they just like have some information system project, just join them. If they say that, okay, today I go for interview the users, blah blah blah, just like volunteer to them, like can I just like go with you? I just want to see how they're gonna interview the user or something like that. It will be like the good experience, believe me. Okay. Next, after we develop the interview question already, the next thing that we have to do is that you prepare for the interview. Careful preparation is essential, okay, because interview is important meeting. It's just not a chit chat that you just go to meet your users at his desk and then just talk to him. But some of the companies or some of the departments, when you say that, okay, I would like to conduct an interview for the current system, okay, I would like to meet the representative of your department today at 1 p.m. Okay, so some of them may just like book the meeting room for you and let you go there, and they have like maybe like the person who is like related to that information system together with his or her assistant or the secretary of the department, or sometimes they may have like 3 or 4 staff more to be in the interview for you as well. So this is not the casual chat anymore, it's important meeting. The next one that is important, okay, normally when we talk about like lectures or any meeting, normally students or just like regular people or what to say, staff in the company, if we have to conduct the meeting, they can focus, okay, or they can concentrate up to 50 minutes or 1 hour only. Okay, so that's why the interview, when you just like have the interview, try to limit the interview to be no more than 1 hour, because it will be boring if you set up the interview for to be too long. That is the first one. Your users cannot concentrate on the interview question anymore. Okay. Second one, your users might be busy. In 1 hour, they may tell like their staff to pick up the phone for them, or they may just hold their work, their routine work for 1 hour. But if more than that, I'm sure that they start having some excuse to just like leave your interview table for a while. For example, can I go to the restroom? Okay. Can I just like go to pick the parcel that the delivery person just come to deliver the things for me? Or can I sign my signature on some document? Okay, these are the excuses that you have to know that it might be a sign to let you know that, okay, they're getting bored already and they want to leave the meeting room. Or if they just like have a look on their wristwatch or their mobile phone, or they start using their mobile phone without listening to you, they may listen, but they just like don't focus on what you are asking, but they just like chat on the phone more frequent. You know that the time limit should be ended. And actually, you should tell them that, okay, what time until what time is the interviewing time. For example, if you say that, okay, 9 to 10 o'clock, 10 or 10 to 11 o'clock, okay, I'll just like meet you for the interview, so that they know, and then they can plan for their work as well. Okay, and then before you go to meet the interviewee. If possible, send them the list of the topics. List of the topics might not be the list of the question, because I mean, like, suppose you say that you have 3 days ahead, but you haven't finished the list of questions yet, then you better send the list of topics instead to that person to the interviewee, so that they can plan what will you ask them. Okay. Apart from the list of topics, the next thing is that you would need to ask them for some documents or forms that they have to use in the current system as well. Okay, so this one, some example. Okay, to have samples available, samples of what? Of documents or of the form that they have, maybe as the input or maybe as the output of the current system. For the documents and form, you should tell them ahead. The reason is because the information inside their documents or their forms might be confidential. You should give them some time in order to wipe out some important data. For example, not important data, confidential data. For example, if you say that, okay, they have like the incoming report, the income report of the company, or if you say that I want to see the report of the staff payment or the staff payroll, and if they say that, okay, those are confidential for about the salary of the staff, the things that I should let them know is that for the samples of the payroll report that they will prepare for us, please wipe out all of the confidential information and then just give us the form. Okay, but if there is a blank form, just ask them for a blank form. It's okay too. Okay, and then you just ask them to fill up manually. Okay, because they know what can be reviewed, what has to be concealed in that form or in that report. Okay, so just like these are like preparing for the interview. Now, when you prepare for the interview already, how long should you tell them ahead? If possible, you may say that, okay, you may let them prepare themselves for, let's say, around like 5 working days. So that means you, if possible, book them 1 week ahead before you go to interview them. Okay, and different companies have different suitable time for interview as well. For example, if you would like to conduct an interview with the governmental office, I mean, this one is, I mean, in Thailand only. If you just like want to just like make an appointment to government office, check first, will tomorrow be the holiday or not? For example, if today is Friday, the regular Friday seems to be okay because they should be available, okay, to answer your question. Okay, but if today, if today is Friday, if today were Friday, and the government announced that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday will be public holiday, don't go to ask them on that Monday, on that Friday, because especially Friday afternoon, they have to prepare themselves. They will start packing up and prepare themselves for going home already. Another thing that you shouldn't do is that you have to check first what is their office hour. For example, in MUIC, the office hours of like all the staff members are from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. So the time that you shouldn't conduct the interview is 4:30. Even you say that, okay, they can be they can stay late until 5:30, but the thing is that somebody has to just like go to pick their kids up, somebody has to just like go home on time, or somebody said that, okay, if they have to stay late after their office hours, their boss has to sign for approval of their overtime payment as well. So you have to just like learn what time that you should go for the interview. Normally, what's the suitable time? The suitable time is around 9 o'clock, okay, to start your interview, or 10 o'clock, that's still okay, or 11 o'clock, that is still okay. But be careful that, okay, for 11 o'clock, you have to control the time because 12 o'clock sharp, they have to go for lunch. Okay, 1 o'clock is not quite okay. You may just have to wait a bit. You may start from 1:30 to 2:30, that is okay. Or 2 to 3, 3 to 4 is okay too. 4 to 5 is okay. And then you should stop. No more appointment after 4 p.m. if you want to conduct the interview. Because you have to know that normally interview takes around at least an hour. And we try to limit it to be at most 1 hour per session only, right? So when you prepare the interview already, just appoint the user or interviewees ahead. Okay, now let's go for the interviewing date. When the interviewing date comes, the step 5 is that you have to conduct the interview. You develop the specific plan for the meeting. Okay. When you start the interview, begin by introducing yourself first. Who are you? Okay. Describing the project. Okay. What project are you responsible for? And what is the objective of this interview? When they start answering you, so that means when you ask the users with some questions and they start answering you, don't use the mobile phone at that time. For example, when the interviewee just like explain something to you, but you think that they just like speak for a long time and you record the tape, record their voice. The thing that you shouldn't do is that some of the people, they just chat on the line messenger while listening to another person. So that is not polite, and you shouldn't do that. You have to engage in the listening to the interviewing. And also allow that person enough time to think about the question. So for example, if you asked already, let them think first. Don't just like try to rush them to go to the next question. Okay. After the interview, try to summarize the session and seek a confirmation if you need, and tell them that what's the next step that they should do or we are going to do. Okay, for example, you just like wrap up for what we interviewed to them and what did they answer. Okay, and after that, you just tell them that, okay, on the next step, we just use your information, we will analyze them, and then we will propose the solutions that, it fits you the most, something like that. Just let them know. The next thing, when you go back to your office after the interview, you have to document it. So when you have to do the note taking, you should do it as a minimum. Don't try to write everything. You have to conclude straight to the point for the answer. After you conduct the interview, you must record information quickly. Okay, don't just wait until, let's say, 2-3 weeks because you will forget. And also you may have like lots of things to do after the interview finish, to use the interview information for doing something else or doing some other document. So that's why you must record the information quickly. After the interview, send memo to the interviewee expressing your appreciation and thanks them for spending their time with us for the interviewing. It will be like they will be appreciated for what you just like try to let them know. Note date, time, location, purpose of the interview, and the main points you discuss with the interviewee. So the interviewee has a written summary and can offer addition or correction if you just like try to summarize the things and it's not what they answer. They can help you. Okay, then you just send it to them. Okay. After that, when you document the interview already, You have to evaluate the interview. So in addition to recording the facts obtained in an interview, you try to identify any possible biases. For example, when you ask them about the as-is system and then they start complaining, you know the biases that they may have with the current system from what they are talking to you. Okay? And unsuccessful interview, you have to be careful. No matter how well you prepare for interviews, some of the interviews are not successful because you may not know that interviewee ahead. You may not know that whether they may not like the old system because I mean like it might be because of the political issues in their organization, or when you ask or when you interview somebody, the current system might be developed by that team themselves. So everything seems to be good for the current system. And when you ask them that, okay, we are going to propose a new solution, they may reject because they say that, okay, I think the current system is already good. I don't see any point to change to a new system. This one might be unsuccessful interview, but don't worry. If the interview becomes unsuccessful, okay, you may have to do something else to do the fact finding. In order to just like do the fact finding in other ways, okay, it might be because the interviews that you try to obtain the fact does not work well. Okay, so what are other fact finding techniques? If you would like to have the fact finding techniques, you may have document review. Document review means that you request from the management team or from your key users that, okay, you would like to see the documents from the as-is system. For example, you would like to see the input documents, and also you would like to see the report that the current information system produces. And after that, you just review it. Then if you have experience enough, you will know that, okay, whether the information that they provide into the system or whether the information that this information system produces is good enough or not. Which part is the missing part and you should adjust it. Okay. Apart from document review, you may do the observation as well. Observation, what is it? Observation is the way that we just like go to sit in the office of the user and observe for how they do in order to do something related to the current information system. So you will see system in action. You see how people or how users use the information system, okay, currently. Or I mean, like, for example, somebody may just like take some notes, okay, may take some notes in the paper, and at the end of the day, they start typing the data that they had in the paper to the information system. So you can just like take some notes that, okay, the current system here makes the current users to be difficult in order to just like interact with the system. So that's why they just like keep it and do it at the end of the day. That shouldn't be the good way. Okay, or we may say that, okay, actually the system should enter the system by having tapping the ID card of the employee, but they have to write down the ID card and the name. They have to write down the ID of the employee and write down the name of the employee in the paper instead of just tapping the card of those employees. And when you find that, it might be because the card reader is broken, or the card reader is okay, but there are two versions of the ID card. One version, the employee can tap the card on the card reader, while the other version of the card is the magnetic stripe card. So the card reader doesn't support the magnetic stripe. So we had to just like write down the information instead. So you can see the weak point of the current system already. So the next thing that we have to do is that you have to plan your observation in advance. It means that when you have to just like go to observe, don't just make a phone call to your users and say that I'll go to observe this afternoon. No, let them prepare first, because I mean like you just like want to observe them, but they will not feel comfortable if they don't know ahead. But if you just like let them know first, they'll be okay. For example, if you say that okay, you ask them that is it possible on next week? Okay, what day of week that you will be available? I would like to go to observe for of the using of the current system. Okay, and I don't interrupt your work. I just like go to sit around your office and just take a look. Okay, you have to let them know like that so that they'll be okay in order to let you to be in their office and observe it. Okay. So for the observation, it may have the Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect. What is Hawthorne effect? Hawthorne effect, okay, is that when you go to observe someone working, the things that happen when you observe is that he or she is focusing or concentrating more and try to do work better than just like usual without like having someone who observe on their work. This is Hawthorne effect. It might happen. So the things that you may have to do when you observe someone is that you just have a glance of other people around him or her as well. Does it look natural, or it's just like Hawthorne effect because someone is just observing? So then this one just not it. The next thing, apart from observation, you may do the questionnaires and surveys for fact-finding technique as well. So when we have to use questionnaire and survey, it means that when you have to use questionnaire, you don't have time enough in order to interview lots of people. So that means questionnaire and surveys are good when you have lots of users. Atiwat asked about spying. Actually, no need to do the spying when we develop the new information system, because let's imagine that if their office consists of 5 people in their department, and you just like try to go there and spy, they know immediately that it's you. You are like the stranger, so no need to spy. Just let them know that you go to observe, because just clarify that observation is one kind of fact finding from the as-is system. They understand. Okay. If they don't understand, just let them know that okay, I know that all of you are very, very busy and we don't want to disturb your time. So I would like to start gathering the information from the current information system by just observing how you work or how you do with it. Okay, I promise that it will not disturb your working time, and I will not interrupt you while you are working. That should be okay. I will not just like try to just like make you lose your concentration. Okay, something like that. You just let them know. Okay, now just come back to questionnaire and survey. When you have so many users, okay, and you want to get or gather the surveys or gather questionnaire or having some polls, okay, instead of having interview, that wastes a lot of time, because you can see that in order to complete those 6 or 7 steps, you may have to plan ahead and spend around like 2 weeks at least to just like interview for a couple of people only. But in terms of having like hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of users, for example, if you say that you want to see whether or how the users like your software or not, you may conduct the questionnaire or surveys online instead. So everybody will do it by themselves without just asking you. Okay, so when you design a questionnaire, okay, it's a science as well to design a questionnaire. Normally, the group of people who can design the questionnaire very well are just like people in the business. And what about like the people in science? Which kind of people or which discipline of the scientists could design the questionnaire good? The statistician, they are very good in designing the questionnaire because they know how to just lay the questions down in what order. Okay. The most important rule of all designing a questionnaire is to make sure that your question collect the right data in a form that you can use further your fact finding. Okay, let me just explain to you about this questionnaire design. When you design a questionnaire, some of the questions that you ask might not understandable by the respondents. For the people who reply your questionnaire, we call them as respondents. When the respondents don't understand the question in the questionnaire, what will they do? Boss, can you tell me? If you receive a questionnaire, they ask you with some question, but you don't understand that question, what will you do with that question? Answer randomly. What if it is the open-ended question? There's no choice. They are just like blank lines. Ask them to clarify. Ask whom? Melin. Reply with dash dash. Okay. If there is someone who can clarify it, that would be great. But as far as I found, okay, the people who don't understand the question that you are trying to ask them, there will be like Pongamon answer and Achiwan answer. They may just put dash on that question and skip to the next one, or they ignore and proceed the next one. Okay, so you have to be careful. Many times we found that questions that are not like easily understandable by the user to be ignored. Okay, so that's why you have to just like try to ask the question in the questionnaire with the way that users can understand by themselves and easily answer your question. So one way that may help is that if that question is very, very difficult to answer, instead of having open-ended questions, use the multiple choice question for them to answer instead, because you just like put possible answers for them already. So when they don't understand, I mean, when it is difficult to understand question, they will read the choice and then they will just like answer for what they think. And also you may need to have another choice for them too, that they may, if they don't want to answer or they don't understand the question, just choose that choice, something like that. So you'll be sure that, okay, when you receive the reply back from the questionnaire, you know what happened to that question immediately. Okay. So normally questionnaire is the way that people will fill in the form. So you have to be careful for the questionnaire. Normally we distribute lots of questionnaire to lots of people. For example, hundreds of them, or thousands of them, or hundreds of thousands of them to be replied. If there are so many open-ended questions, when they receive these questionnaire back, it will take longer time to process, because it will be like quite difficult to compile all of these answers as it's the free text. But by having the questionnaire with too many multiple choice questions is not good either, because sometimes when you just like give away that questionnaire already, your respondent cannot express their ideas. Okay, they may randomly answer it if there are just like the close-ended questions or just like multiple choice questions. So you need to combine open-ended question, closed question, and also multiple choice question together in the same questionnaire. Okay. Apart from questionnaire and surveys conduct, you may do the sampling as well. Sampling here, you may just like use the sampling technique in order to do the fact finding. We do the sampling of what? We may do the sampling for the document. We may do the sampling for conducting the interview. We may do the sampling for distributing the questionnaire. Okay, so we have like various techniques for sampling. For example, systematic sample or systematic sampling. You may say that, okay, if this company has around like 10,000 employees, okay, you want to just like find out the information from, let's say, half of the employees in this company. You might say that, okay, my sampling, I'll use this systematic sampling, that I will sample for the employee whose their employee ID is the even number. Okay, this is systematic sampling, because when they just like, you just have to analyze who you send the questionnaire to. You just find out if his or her employee ID is the is the even number. You just like list their name, and then send the email or the questionnaire to them. That is systematic sampling. The next one, stratified sampling. It means that you just like separate in groups of people first. For example, you say that, okay, this company has 10,000 people, okay, as employees. There are like, let's say, 20 factories around the country. So each factory has around approximately 500 people. So you may say that, okay, you will get, let's say, 100 persons from each factory to answer this questionnaire. So you may say that, okay, you write down a letter to human resource department of each factory and say that, okay, could you please find out 100 people to reply to this questionnaire for us, please? So this is stratified sampling. You separate them into groups first and pick specific people from that group, okay, in the same manner. So that means if you just like say that, okay, factory 1, you get 100 people, you have to do the same thing with factory 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you say that in factory 1, you just like send the message to HR or the human resource staff to pick 100 people. So we do the same thing with factory 2, 3, 4, and 5, send the email to HR department of those factories to help you filling up this questionnaire. Or random sample. We say that, okay, we want to have 500 people to reply the questionnaire. You just random, okay. For example, you might just like random by their employee ID. Okay, you may just like write down a program to like randomize the employee ID for you in order to send the questionnaire to. Okay, that is random sample. Okay. So I get a question from Asiwat. How effective is word limit on open end? Actually, you shouldn't have the word limit, but you should think that, okay, let's say, if it is a paper base, right? You just like, you have to think that, okay, how many lines that the user should answer, okay? For example, if you say that, okay, this is just like short question, you shouldn't have more than 5 lines to answer. Then you just put 5 lines in the questionnaire first. But one good way is that let them know that, okay, feel free to attach an extra page if you want to talk, if you want to write more answer. Not everyone will answer more, okay, believe me, because psychologically, when they see 5 lines, they will answer within 5 lines. But in terms of just like the web-based, the web-based questionnaire, okay, you should estimate how many words that, I mean, if without any biases, the people will write. If you say that, okay, normally it should be just like 200 or 300 words to answer. The word limit, you may limit the word, but it's not 200, 300. You should have some extra. For example, you add another 25 or 30% more. Okay, that regular people use, for example. If you know that regular people will type or will use around like 300 words, then you just add another 30%. For example, if I say that, okay, I add another 100%, sorry, another 100 words for that open-ended question to answer. So instead of having 300 words limit, you have 400 words limit. So it should be okay. Instead of you have set up as 200 words exactly, and if they want to type more, they can't type anymore because it's different from the paper-based version. For paper-based version, they can attach an extra sheet of paper, while the online form, if you limit the word like that, once the word reach the limit, they can't type anything, or if you say that they can add some more extra space, it's difficult for them already. So this is the way in order to concern about the open-ended word limit. Okay. So when you do the sampling, okay, the main objective of sampling of a sample is to ensure that represents overall population accurately. So also it depends on your experience as well. How do you gonna just like do the sampling way? Some of the situations systematic is okay, while some of the situation we say that okay, systematic is not okay because we want to focus on people in some departments only. Then stratified sample might be better. And if you just like would like to just like check some comments randomly, then you may use random sample instead. Apart from sampling, we may do the research. We may include the internet, some magazine, some books, to get some background information for this current the current system that this company use, if they use the standard software. Or you may just like check about the industry. In the industry as the same as your customer, what kind of software do they use, and what are their business model that you think it should fit the software very well. So you can see the trends, the development of the industry, and also you can see like the market size of this industry as well. What for? In the future, if this company would like your system that you plan to develop as a 2B system to be scalable, you will know that how much level do you have to extend or scale up your system. And for the research, you may just like go to the site visit as well. Site visit here is different from observation. Observation that we talked before was like you sit with the user and just notice how they work. While site visit, they may have like some tour guide, okay, to just like bring you to different departments and show you and explain to you what kind of like system do they use and how do they use them, how frequent do they use them, how many people, okay, how are their skills of using IT, and then the number of years, turnover rate of the user, something like that. It's a thing that you may research through the site visit. The next thing, when we compare interview versus a questionnaire, okay, interview is more familiar and personal, okay, while questionnaire gives many people the opportunity to provide the input to you and give suggestion to you. And also, you can see that apart from interview, normally interviewing we may do just like one person at a time, okay? Or I mean like if you remember, I told you that in one interview They may bring like more than one person to be with you. Okay, the person in the same department, something like that. But actually, the main interviewee is one person at a time. Okay, but what about like other people who sit with that interviewee? They may be the subordinates of that person, or they may be the colleagues of that person. The thing that the interviewee might do with their like fellow colleagues that they come to the interviewing room is that they may just ask some confirmation from some other colleagues, or they may just ask some colleagues who are the subordinates in order to bring some documents to give it to you, something like that. That is interview. Apart from interviewing and questionnaire, one kind of interviewing you may have the brainstorming instead. For the brainstorming, it's like you together with the interviewee and their team come for brainstorming. Okay, so that means not just one person will answer you, but there might be like some other people in the same brainstorm group to help answering this question and discuss about like the current situation as well. So you may have like the structured brainstorming and unstructured brainstorming. For the structured means that you just like prepare all the questions ahead, and then people you may set them up ahead. While unstructured brainstorming, the people who come for the brainstorming session might be like from one or two or three departments. It's up to them, something like that. That is unstructured brainstorming to come to help to answer the question that you want. The next thing, we talk about the documentation. Okay, there is a need for recording the facts that you obtain. Try to record information as soon as you obtain it, and use the simplest recording method. Record your finding in such a way that they can be understood by someone else, not just you. Because later on you have to pass this information or these facts to other people, to the team, to your customers, to the programmers team as well. Okay, so that's why other people can understand your record of the fact as well. Organization your documents so related material is located easily. For example, you may separate them as a folder, and then you just like break the folder into different departments or different modules or different functions of the system. Okay, it depends. Okay, and some company may have the standard of organizing the document as well. Okay, and also you may use a case tool to help, and other productivity software to help, just like recording these facts, such as word processing, spreadsheet, database management, presentation graphics like PowerPoint, collaborative software systems like Outlook, and histogram like a chart as well. Okay, these are like software to like graphic modeling software like Excel, PowerPoint, personal information manager, to-do list, Outlook, something like that. Or you may use wireless communication devices like you may have like chatting on line group, something like that, in order to communicate among like different people, including the email mailing list, something like that as well. So for the logical modeling, okay, after we just like do the fact finding already, we have to just like do the model. Okay, so I'll talk about in detail for the logical modeling later on, but right now talk about the preview of it a bit. At the conclusion of requirements modeling, system developers should have a clear understanding of how business is processed, how it's organized, and also what is the system requirements of the system that we are going to do. The next step, we have to construct logical model of the system. Then IT professionals have differing views about system development methodology, and no universally accepted approach exists. So there are many ways. I'll just like teach you for around like 2 ways in order to do the logical modeling for the business requirement. okay, when we reach that part. So in this module, we talk about system analysis phase. It includes 3 activities: requirements modeling, data and process modeling, consideration and development strategy. Okay, main objective is to understand the proposed project. This to ensure that it will support the business requirements of your users. And also it builds a solid foundation for the system design phase. So that means in this phase, we talk about system models, okay, system analysis phase. They come up with a model. So in this part, we just like talk about the way in order to gather the information and the facts of the company already. The next thing that we have to do is that how do you gonna model it? I'll just like talk about in the next module. Okay, then before we finish the class today, I have an case discussion for you once again. Okay, so right now I would like you to work in team as usual. Okay, but just let me show you now. I set up the team discussion number 3 for you already. Okay, so in this module we have altogether 4 cases. There are just like mini cases. Okay, there are mini cases. So the things that I just want you to do is that I want each team to just like read each case. Okay, and then just like answer the questions for each case. Okay, there is no right and no wrong, but I just want you to express your idea by discussing with your team. Okay, the things that I would like you to do in on next class is that I would like each team to just like talk about like the way that you solve this problem of each case shortly. Just like a couple of minutes should be enough. How can you do when you see this case? So the case, the responsible person of each case, okay, will be like this. So for case 1, okay, case 1 that is North Hills College. North Hill College. Okay, it will be Atiwat and the team because it's the smallest case. Next case, Deep River College. Deep River College here, okay. Kristin team and Nakarin team, please, like responsible for Deep River College. The third case is Fast Pack Overnight Package System. James and the team and Tantita and the team, please do this case, the third case. And the last one, Cyber Stuff, Touchsphere and the team, Maylin and the team, please do this case. Okay, right. Okay, in this one, we will have like a short presentation on this coming Thursday, right? Okay, then up to this point, do you have any questions before we finish the class today?
Can I ask you a few questions after the class?
Yes, sure. What?
Okay.
What about others? Okay, if you don't have any question now, okay, everyone please turn on your camera so that I can just like capture the screen to you before you leave the room. Just won't be long. Sujina, what's wrong with your camera? Okay. What is IDK? I think it might be broken, right? Okay. That's okay. No problem. Okay. So I think if it's not broken next time, Sujina, you have to restart the computer and check. Okay. Right. For the rest of you, if you don't have any questions, okay, you have a nice day today, and we see each other again on this coming Thursday. You take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye bye for now. Bye. Just take care. Okay.
So อาจารย์ครับ
Yes ครับ
I'm
What?
I'm not sure if you are involved in this, but I believe in the MUIC, if you're an MUIC student, you can register the paid Coursera courses for free, right? And that is up until the 30th September or something. I'm not sure if you like have information on this, but I'm asking just in
Oh,
case.
unfortunately, I don't have it. So where did you get this information from? So I will just like let you know who can be responsible for this.
I think there was like a poster or something at like a long time ago when we shift from physical classes to online classes. And then recently I found a message on Discord. People were talking about how you can register paid courses until the 30th of September or something.
The
And yeah, just
Coursera, right? Coursera.
yeah, Coursera.
So
I
I
just
suggest you there might be two ways to find the answer. First one, you just go to MUIC what to say official account in Line Messenger. I can't remember what the name is. It's like my MUIC. I think it's at assign my MUIC, something like that. You just like add that account and then ask, because in that one there'll be lots of people who relate in many matters. The responsible person will answer you.
I
Okay, that
see.
is the first way. But if there is no reply, I suggest you to call to MUIC IT department. Okay, you just call to MUIC. I think the phone number is 02-700-5000, 700-5000. Okay, and then you just press 1-555. That is IT department. Ask
I
them
see.
about Coursera.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that should be it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Taspia now is so you want to know about the midterm exam, right?
Yep.
So midterm exam, actually, I plan to have it around week 7. I'll let you know in the class, and then we discuss for the date.
Okay, but it's not gonna be in week 5 or 6, right?
No. It should be around week 7.
Okay, Ajahn, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And then I'll just like discuss in the class, and we see the calendar together.
Okay, Ajahn, sure.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Taspia.
See you, Ajahn.
By the way, since you're talking about the midterm now, I'm curious, is it going to be just like a written midterm exam? Since we
Yes.
haven't had coding portion in this class so far.
No coding. It's similar to like the case study that you that I always ask you to do.
Oh, I see.
Right.
But then if it's like a case study similar, then the answer would be like open-ended and things
Yeah.
as well then.
It's open-ended. Yeah.
I see. Actually, aside from that, is there going to be coding in this class?
Oh no, not at all. Not at
Not
all.
at
It's
all.
just design.
I
Just
see.
design. Most of the time, we would like to get your idea, okay, on each matter, and also the modeling design as well. And also, for the final exam, I might ask you to just like do some input-output design, something like that.
I see.
Okay.
For input-output design, like I think it's similar to what you said at the beginning, like about there being a project and create some software.
Right.
Something.
So for the project, I'll start like giving you from next week. Okay. Yeah, because I mean like because right now we just like do at the analysis part only. So we start knowing how to gather the information already. So starting from next week, you should be able to just like think of the case by yourself, and then just think the way that we should do in order to gather the information and start analyzing. Because you have to know how to just like modeling the requirement first before you can do the next step.
I see. Okay.
Right. Okay, is
Here
that
we
all?
are. Yeah, that will be all for today. Thank you
Okay,
for
then
today ครับ
if you have any question, feel free to ask me through line นะครับ no problem at all.
Okay, thank you ครับ
You're welcome. You have a nice day.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.